right, everybody. Good evening once again. Welcome back to fourth day of Business Clinic. Um, I am Ibrahim Murtala Muhammad, and it's great to be with you here on Thursday, the 14th of August, starting at 14th of August 2025, starting at 4:30 p.m. on the dot. Closing today will be Khadija Liman. She is my co-host for the day. Today, we are diving into crucial topic, business compliance and structure. We are honored to have Taiwo Abdullahi with us. Mr. Taiwo is a dynamic and multi-talented professional, passionate about building businesses and helping others do the same. He wears many hats, as I'm sure you are going to find out later, as an entrepreneur, media strategist, content creator, business consultant, all of which revolve around one central goal, and that is to grow. In 2020, Kai founded Beautiful Arewa Prints in Bauchi State to meet the growing market need. What began as a small venture quickly grew into a registered business that now serves individuals, NGOs, corporate clients with a wide range of printing services and materials. Inspired by the challenges of many young people, sorry, many challenges that young Nigerians face, we went ahead to launch Beautiful Ariwa Business Consultants. Beautiful Ariwa Business Consult. Through this company, he has been instrumental in helping entrepreneurs across Nigeria register their businesses with corporate affairs, show their brands, and access the tools they need to grow. Aye is a driven individual with a vision to raise the vision to raise a new generation of well-informed, well-positioned entrepreneurs in northern Nigeria. We are excited to have you here, sir. Thank you for answering our call, and the stage is all yours.
All right, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, so without wasting time, I would like us to start. So I have a little presentation I've done on PowerPoint. So I'm going to be going through it, and then I'm going to be saying a whole lot. All right, now that being said, just like the moderator just said, I am going to be taking the topic, business compliance and structure. Can you see my slide? Not if you can see my slide, please. Okay, good. So now, it is well known fact that establishing the right business structure is a critical foundation for any enterprise operating in Nigeria to work. If you want to own, you cannot say you own a business if you are not fully registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. We want to start from that basics because this is Bauchi Business Clinic. So if we say we're talking to business-minded people who want to do business and some who are already doing business, we need to let them know that this is one of the basics they need to do. On Monday, Mrs. Aisha online, she did justice to a lot of topics with some of the things I would have wanted to say. So I'm going to say part of it also. Now, what is the benefit of getting a right structure? Number one, you have legal protection and separation of personal assets from business liabilities. Okay, you have enhanced credibility with customer, supplier, and financial institutions. You have improved access to funding opportunities and investment capital. You have clear framework for governance, decision-making, and planning. Now, in this presentation, I'm going to take you guys through a series of things that you need to do for you to have a solid structure so that you will not have any reason to worry about things. So as far as the Corporate Affairs Commission is concerned, there are various entities that can be registered under the CAC. We call them entities because some people just feel company is company. No. During registration on CAC, we have what is called business name registration, which is more like a sole proprietorship. And luckily, CAC have introduced partnership on that particular aspect of registration. What it means is two persons can actually be co-founders of a business name. But I really don't like advising people to register for that because if you can see my slide very well, you see I bolding unlimited liabilities. I will explain what that means. Now, we have limited liability company, which is private or public, depending on what you want to do. Banks are mostly registered as public limited liability companies. Then other normal companies are registered as private. Okay. Then we have incorporated trustees. That's where we have all religious houses, our church, our mosques, organizations, NGOs, whatever it is, those are registered under IT. Then we have limited liability partnership. Then we have company limited by guarantee. Now I explained a little bit this, but let me go back to the business name. If you notice, I wrote unlimited liabilities there. I need to make you understand so that you get to know the reason why sometimes when you meet an agent like myself and we advise you to do company registration, regardless of the cost, we know the reason why. Now, for the limited liability companies, the owner's financial responsibility is restricted to the amount they invest in the company. What it means is your personal assets, your house, your car, your savings are protected if your business owes a debt or faces any lawsuit. That's when you register as a company. The reason why it's called limited liability is because it takes the liability from the person registering it and places it on the company. And that is why when someone like, let me use an example, Dangote, you don't see Dangote going to court to respond. They don't even say they are suing Dangote, Aliko Dangote. They are suing Dangote groups to court. And then he has people who go to represent him. He has that backing because it is limited liability. The company takes over the liability. So what it means also is, if the company that you own, you invest 2 million naira in it and you lost that 2 million naira in it, and all you have in your company account is, let's say, 1 million naira. That 1 million naira is what is going to be taken from your account. The other 1 million naira cannot be taken from your personal bank account. If the company does not have money, it means you don't have money. They do not interfere with it. Now, when you register as a business name, that is why we say unlimited liability. The owners are personally responsible for all the business debts and obligations. It means if the business cannot pay its debts, creditors can go after personal assets. Do you understand? Under personal assets. Now, it means if you are owing 2 million naira, another 2 million naira, and your company, your business has 500,000 naira, they can come and sell your assets, your personal assets, to recover the remaining 1.5 million naira. So if you ask me, which is better to register, business name or company, I will always say go for a company registration for that backing. It's not everybody that goes into business with the hope that it's going to get, you're going to have issues in the business. But in case it happens, on a company registration, you have legal coverage for your personal assets. But business name is not like that. Okay? So you can see one company limited by guarantee there. Company limited by guarantee is more like, you see some people say they want to register a social enterprise. That's a company that also serves as an organization. So we register that under company limited by guarantee. It means you are an organization, and normally organization is called non-governmental organization, meaning you're not supposed to be doing profits related stuff. But if you register as a limited by guarantee, you can do profits business and you are doing your organization work side by side. There is no conflict. Now, factor to consider: size and scope of business operations, liability, risk, exposure and protection needs, funding requirements and investors' expectation, sector regulations, and industry-specific requirements. Before you register, ask yourself, what kind of business do you want to do? And when you know the kind of business you want to do, ask yourself again, what are the necessary, which sectors are guiding this kind of business? Say, for example, you want to open a food business, regardless of any kind of food business. You know that naturally you're supposed to work hand in hand with NAFDAC, especially when you are producing things like Zobo, Onu, and all of those household products. You need NAFDAC certification. But then we are in Nigeria. Some people don't even care about this, but it is what it is. So if you know you need these things, you know that immediately after your CAC registration, the next thing is for you to work around getting your NAFDAC certification to avoid unnecessary issues in your business. Now, as you can see on this slide, it says carrying on business in Nigeria under unregistered name or acronym. It didn't finish. The slide, the write-up didn't finish. It is illegal as far as the Corporate Affairs Commission is concerned. This was in their April meeting, and they announced. So what it means is, if somebody come and start saying, come and buy from Mama Aisha provision store, or she has a shop and she just writes Mama Aisha provision store, she can be arrested for that because she is not registered. Once she is not registered, she can be arrested for that. So CAC have said they are giving 28 days from the day of you starting your business to get registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. After 28 days, there's a penalty around it. So no matter the name you're carrying, so long as you're doing a buying and selling business, you are supposed to be registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So that is what this slide is all about. Now, next, after registration, what next? There is what we call post-incorporation. Post-incorporation, you have to do JTB, which is either Joint Tax Board. Now, this is the thing. Joint Tax Board are the tax administrators of business name registration, while FIRS are the tax administration for company registration and NGOs. You need to have registered with them, then they will give you what is called a TIN number, TIN number. So with that TIN number, you can now open a bank account carrying your business name. So when you have your TIN number, the next thing is, how do you start paying your tax? VAT, value-added tax, withholding tax, and whatever. I think we'll talk about those ones in the next slide or thereabout. You understand how payment of tax works. State Internal Revenue Service, pay as you earn, pay that's for your staff. The State Development Premises Registration, if you have an office. Then sector-specific regulators. I talked about NAFDAC earlier. So if you're doing anything related to food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, you know that your assignment does not end where you do your CAC registration. No, it ends after you've gotten your NAFDAC certification. You understand? So CAC is like the first step because, yes, you need a name. And it is an error for you to start advertising a name if you're not registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. It is a very big error. Let me give you an instance. You start advertising with a unique name, and somebody sees it and likes it. The person can just go and meet an agent or go to CAC portal by himself and put the name. If it's available for registration, the person will register that name, and you've lost it. Even if you go and do trademark, CAC will not come and say, take this name away. No. You understand? So you need to balance this thing up before you start telling people the name of your business, before you start even doing anything business related. The first thing to do is to have it registered. And the thing here is, people think, it's my name, nobody will take it. It will shock you the number of registered businesses that exist in Nigeria in Corporate Affairs Commission. There is a lot. Some names that you don't expect. By the time you put it, you will now see that CAC will tell you that this name cannot fly because somebody has registered a similar name. So why wait when you can do it now? So, and then when you start your business, and you're not registered, it brings mixed feelings, I feel, because you will lose opportunities, a lot of opportunities. Like somebody can just call you for a contract or a job, and simply because you do not have CAC registration, they will deny that registration for you. They will deny that contract and you're not getting it. So why should you wait till when an opportunity comes and then you lose it simply because you don't have CAC certification? And we have people who, maybe I know how to do a job and I don't have CAC. I'll now use someone else and company to do the job. They will now send the money to the person's company. Of course, the person can ask me to give him any amount inside, and I have to because it's his account I used. So why don't you use your own account, get registered fully, and do all of these things? So back to sector specific. Standard Organization of Nigeria. There are some kind of services that you're rendering, you need this certification, be it NCC. If you're registering as a telecommunication company, you need NCC certification. CBN is for financial services. Maybe you want to register as a blockchain company or any company that does any financial related stuff. You need CBN approval. Then trade associations and what have you. Now, governance. One of the major reasons for having a structure when you're doing registration is for proper governance. Now, you need to appoint key people. See, even if you're just registering the company for registering sake, you can have your friends, you can have your family members and say, you're acting, give them acting position. You don't need to give them any permanent role. You're going to be the CEO of this company, you're going to be the secretary, you're going to be this, you're going to be that. Give them a sense of belonging in your company. If it's a baby company, you understand, once you know, just do these things so that it will help you to know that, okay, there's somebody you're accountable for, and there's somebody who is accountable for yourself also. Now, internal policies, develop HR policy, financial control, and operational guidelines. Under financial control, have a detailed record of money coming in and going out. And one of the major importance of being registered, compliance, is you can now differentiate personal as money from business money. You can differentiate what is your own personally and what is your business. And now, when you start a company, one thing I advise people is pay yourself salary. No matter how little, pay yourself. So this is what I do. Let me give you an insight. So let's say I do a job for somebody, and the total job, let's say, is 400K, and my gain is, let's say, 50,000 naira. So that's 450,000 I'm expecting. So when the person sends that money, I don't touch the money until I'm done with the work. When I'm done expanding the and doing this job, the balance of 50,000 naira, I send it to my personal account with the narration. Sometimes I accumulate it till the end of the month, then with the narration, salary, January salary, you get. Just pay yourself, learn to pay yourself from whatever you're doing. Okay. Now, operations, banking, set up corporate bank accounts with appropriate signatories. I said that. So if you're registering a loan, it means you're the only signatory to your account. If you're registering with somebody, a partner, a friend, your spouse, whatever, you can decide to be two signatories or whatever. Yes. Then physical setup, establish office space if you have the resources. If you don't have, make your home your office. I tell people sometimes your home can be your first office. When I started my printing press, my printer was inside the room I was sleeping for the first 6 months. It was 6 months after that I was now able to rent an apartment. Then I was able to establish, buy more printers, and then set up that place as a shop because my father owns this structure, you get. So I was actually sleeping there and working there at the point. And it wasn't really fun because when you say you're trying to set up a structure, a business structure, a proper structure, the ideal thing is always have work time and personal time. So when I was staying there, I wasn't having personal time. Almost every time is work time. So I'll always be working. You can wake me up at 11 p.m. I'll get up and I'll be printing for you. But it wasn't so well, speaking well to my health. So that was why I needed to get another apartment and then let work time be work time. So when you're doing a structure, always have a timeline also. All right. And own your business. When I say own your business, I mean, don't let your business to own you. No, don't let your clients, in as much as clients can decide some to a certain extent, but don't let them be the sole decision makers in your company. You should decide how things are going to be run sometime. Okay. Now, annual returns. You've registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. The next thing is, what do you know about your registration? In law, they say ignorance is not an excuse. Now, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Once you're registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, there is a statutory obligation on you to file your annual returns with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Starting from the first 12 months for business or this file are done to the get it right. Anybody who is not an agent cannot pay. I'm an agent with the Corporate Affairs Commission, so we do this filing for people. So you need to call an agent. it yourself. If you don't have the money to pay account, get accounting who knows this thing. They should do it for you. You can just buy them sweet or something. Bank and give it to them. Tell them that okay, you want good for you. The account. So, hello, can you hear me? Sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure if it is from your end, but your voice is breaking.
Okay. Can you hear me? Come again.
Now your voice is a little bit stable.
Am I clear? Can you hear me? I need a notice. Should I go ahead? Okay.
Yeah, you should go ahead, please.
Filing of annual returns, 12 months for business name, 18 months for company registration. Through the CAC, it's not expensive. For business name, it's just around, if you don't default, it's just around 3,000 naira minus agent fee, which might be 2,000 naira. So let's say 5K. For company, it's just like 5,000 naira once you don't default. But once you default, there's a penalty fee towards it. Okay. Then now tax. I talked about your tax earlier. Company income tax is 30% for large companies, 20% for medium companies, and 0 for small companies. Now, what this means is any company registered in Nigeria that does not do a turnover of up to 25 million naira in a year is exempted from paying company income tax. You understand? So long as you don't do 25 million naira in a year, you're exempted from paying such type of tax. VAT, almost everybody pays tax of VAT, of course. So no matter what, the 7.5%. PAYE is based on your employment, your people that you employ. Then withholding tax, this is 5 to 10% of the transaction of the contract sum. So let me give you a trick around it. Is what I do, and is what a lot of these people do. The sad thing is somebody will want to give you a contract, and they will not tell you about this withholding tax. Some people don't even know about withholding tax until when you've calculated everything, and then you tell them, and they tell you, okay, good, we're going with this. Maybe somebody asks you to deliver something, and then you calculated everything is 5 million naira, and then you're saying that inside that 5 million, you're making like maybe 500K as your gain, and you're happy. By the time they will remove that 5%, it will shock you what to be left. You understand? So this is what we do. When somebody is meeting you for a contract, for you to give them quotation and everything, ask them, who is going to pay the withholding tax? If they say they will be the one to pay, add it to your calculation. If they say you'll be the one to pay, still add it to your calculation. So let's say it's 5 million naira that is the fee. And let's assume 5% of it is 250,000 naira. So automatically, you're telling them it's 5.250 million naira that is doing the job. So that by the time you remove that 5% withholding tax or whatever it is, you are covered on your own gain in your own business. You are covered. Because by the time they will remove that 5% withholding tax from the actual figure you're giving them, you will see that you're even left with virtually nothing. And some of these people who give you contract, they will not tell you. It's when it's time for them to pay, they'll just say, we are removing 5% withholding tax and what have you. And then you will now begin to wonder, and imagine some people who want to be diligent. They don't want to put too much. So out of 500K, 5 million naira, for example, their own gain maybe is around 100K. And you're removing 5% from 5 million naira. That means they're not even making anything from it. So you need to be careful. Ask, who is paying withholding tax? It's very important in contract collecting. A lot of organizations, when they are giving you a contract like this, they tell you they will take out the 5% withholding tax from it. So you know how to do your calculation. Now, risk management and legal protection. Effective risk management and legal protection are essential for safeguarding your business interests in Nigeria dynamic business environments. Intellectual property registration. Now, if you want to go a step further in protecting your business, you can do a trademark or a patent or a copyright registration for whatever it is you're doing, depending on what you're kind of doing. Imagine if you are somebody who develops things. Of course, you know such things can actually be easily stolen. So you can decide to do a patent for it, or just do something to protect that thing, so that whenever somebody tries to replicate something like that, you know what to do. You can sue the person and everything. Then don't joke with NDAs, non-disclosure agreement or something like that. When you're entering into some contract with some people, there are some informations that other people should not hear. There are some informations that people should not hear. So whenever you see such kind of contracts, make sure you provide an NDA for them to sign, for both of you to sign. All right, business insurance, secure comprehensive covering, including general liabilities, professional indemnity, property, and key person insurance to mitigate operational risk. Insurance is very important. If you're a business person, if you want to be a salesman, you need to be insured. There are a lot of insurance companies out there. You find out the one that is best for you and then get yourself insured. So contract and NDAs, I talked about NDAs earlier. Now, this is it again. Develop robust legal agreements with clients. Now, I don't have the resources, financial resources now to get a proper lawyer. But I have friends, like about 4 of them, who are lawyers. Like they've studied law, they are practicing. And one of them has always been coming through for me legally. You can have friends. How do you use your friends? That's the question. How do you use your friends? Don't be somebody who always just use them. You should also be used. Okay? So when you have your friends, they should use you, you should use them. Why should you have a friend who is a lawyer and you're suffering in one aspect of your business or whatever? No. When it comes to contract agreement and everything, you can always call them. Please see this contract. Let me read it. What does it say? What is the clause? Because there are some clauses in some kind of contract that we sign business-wise. If you don't read it very well, you put yourself in serious trouble. So your friends, how do you manage your friends? In business, you must always have friends around. Okay, labor law, talked about labor law earlier. Know about the right. If you're employing somebody, how many hours is the person supposed to work? What is the standard payment for the kind of job that this person is coming to do for you? And make sure that you follow the criteria. Structure for growth next. Now, as your business evolves, structure must adapt to accommodate growth. So as your business is evolving, make sure that your structure is also adapting to accommodate growth. Understand your business. Understand the business that you're doing. In understanding the business that you're doing, you need to, before you start, let me give you an instance now. You go to Port Harcourt and then you see mini skirts, all those skimpy skirts that ladies wear. Raining there, a lot of people are buying it, a lot of people are wearing it. And you come to places like Bauchi and you say you want to sell it. Of course, some people will buy, but you will not get as much patronage as you're getting down there because of cultural differences and what have you, weather and everything. You need to understand the basics. What kind of business are you entering into? Now, who are your target customers? The other day, I think on Tuesday, the speaker, she was saying about your friends. If your friends are your only customers, then you're not ready for business. Your friends and family should not be the reason why you're doing something. The fact that they tell you that you're good at making cake does not mean you should start making cake. No. You should start small, then you go. So when you come to Bauchi selling mini skirts, of course you're going to sell, but not as much as those who are selling down there. So understand your business, the environment, understand the landscape, understand what is moving, and do a viability and visibility study of your business. Don't just start big. I'll talk about loan. I don't think it's part of the slide. So let me briefly talk about loan. Personally, it's a personal opinion now. Personally, I don't have an issue with people collecting loan for business. But I have issues with people collecting loan to start a business. I feel instead of you to collect a loan to start a business, rather collect a loan to boost an existing business that you understand the viability of the business. You get, you've already started, you're saying sales, people, there is demand, there is supply, maybe the supply is small and the demand is more, then you can collect loan. But imagine collecting a loan for a business you don't even know if it's acceptable for people. You will kill that business. And secondly, if you want to collect a loan for business, collect an higher amount more than what you need. So let's say, for example, your business needs 2 million naira to strive. The minimum loan you're supposed to collect is 5 million naira loan, nothing less. Why do I say 5 million naira loan? When you collect 5 million naira loan, invest your 2 million fully into your business. You can keep the remaining 3 million or use 1 million to do logistics and other things and keep 2 million in the bank to start servicing the loan when the repayment time comes. There is hardly any loan that will ask you to pay all the money you collected at once. So some of them you have monthly payments. So by the time you have 3 million kept somewhere, so every month you're paying part of the loan. Before you exhaust that 3 million naira, the 2 million that you have put into your business must have, of course, if you know what you're doing, must have generated enough income to continue paying for where that one stopped. So that is my own opinion about loan collecting. Once you register with CAC, of course, you're registered, you can get loans, you can get grants. I hope some of you know there is this loan from Bank of Industry. They give between 5 to 10 million naira presently. They even give as much as 100 million naira, but those are for large scale companies. Any company that is doing big figures, those are the ones that they give 100 million naira to. But if you're not doing big figures, you're just starting up, you're eligible to just 5 to 10 million naira. And what you just need is just your CAC certificate and your business plan with guarantor, and that's all. It's been on for some months. I don't know if it's about closing. I heard something like it's about closing, but it's been on. So you can find out. You can get yourself registered. If you're already registered, go and get this thing. But they check status of company. So if you're registered for a while, I didn't say that earlier, but this is, let me say it back to CAC. If you're registered on CAC for a while and you don't pay your annual returns, CAC will deregister your registration. It means it will become inactive. And once it is there for a long time, they will deregister you, they will remove you from the database. So for now, if you've not paid your annual returns for up to 2 years, 3 years, they will make your business to be inactive. So when people go to search for your business to see the validity, they will see that instead of it to be showing active, they will show inactive. So you need an accredited agent to help pay your annual returns so that it clears out the backlog and bring you back active. Now, Bank of Industry will ask, they will check, not they will ask, they will check. So if it's all these companies or business names that have been registered for a while, they will go and check. If they've seen on search that you are inactive, you will not get it. I'm talking about contract also, about loans and everything. A lot of people lose contracts. They don't know why they lose this contract. But some of them lose contract because they don't pay their annual returns to CAC. Forget about tax now, CAC. Because when you submit your documents for the contract, these people go to search. It's a public search. You can go to search.cac.gov.ng. Everybody can access it. Just type the name of your company there. It will show you whether it is active or inactive. So a lot of people lose contracts. They lose a lot of gigs, a lot of things without knowing that it is this little thing that they've not done that is affecting them. And sometimes these people will not even tell you. They will not tell you. Business-wise, again, it is easier for you to get a traveling visa out of Nigeria if you're traveling on business than say personal. They hardly reject people who are going on who are seeking for visa for business trip or whatever, because when they go and check and they see that you're active, they know that yes, you could go and bring in some investment. So always keep yourself active on CAC. So back to structure for growth, we have shareholding adjustment. Now, depending on how your company is going, let's assume you register your company as one person, you're the only shareholder. Once you have people who want to invest in your company, of course, you need to make them shareholders. You need to give them percentage in the shares. So you meet an accredited agent to add them in post-incorporation. It's not like you have to do new registration for the company. But in post-incorporation, we'll now say, okay, you're adding this person, you're giving this person 5% of the shares, or you're giving this person 1% of the shares, or whatever percentage you're giving this person based on the financial support this person is bringing. Let me dive in more. Let's assume you want to register a company. You don't just register people in your company as shareholders because you like them. No, anybody you're registering should be somebody who is financially productive to your company, to the startup. Somebody who is putting money down, who is putting time down, who is doing all of these things. Not that because this one is my friend, just give him percent, just give him. No, that is not how it's done. In a structure of a company registration, we have directors and shareholders. Unlike business name has proprietors. That's why I told you earlier that business name, the owners are liable for any issues. They can remove money from your personal account in business name because that one is proprietors, they call them. But in company, we have directors and shareholders. Directors are more like staff of the company, while shareholders are owners of the company. Get so you can be a director and be a shareholder. You can be a director and not be a shareholder. You can be a shareholder and not be a director. You put somebody else as a director. Get so you can put someone as a director, meaning the person works for you in the company. But if you put the person as a shareholder, it means the person has rights. Because as far as CSC is concerned, there's what we call PSC, that's person with significant control. Any person whose share is up to 5% during registration is a PSC. It means you cannot just remove that person, you cannot just do anything without proper consultation and everything. And it is more expensive to even remove people when you're having issues with them. So in the first place, make sure you're registering with people that you know, that you trust, and people that are financially contributing to the growth of your business. Very clear now. So board composition and governance. Establish a diverse board with industry expertise, financial admin, and strategic vision. Implement clear governance framework. Define committees and reporting structure. Now, this is for people who wants to get serious in their business. I tell people there's no small company, there's no big company. All companies are companies. And every company, no matter how small, can be big depending on your mindset. So have a structure. Have a structure. This person is reporting to this person is reporting to this person. For example, if it's financial, is you self, you cannot remove money without the financial your accountant approving the transaction. Some things like that, it keeps you to be accountable in whatever you're doing. Okay, standard operating procedures, document and standardize key business provisions to ensure consistency, quality, and scalability. Create manual for core operations, customer service, and compliance activities. Everything should be well documented. This is what this is saying. Once you have full documentation, even if you are not around, other people can see what you're doing and take charge from there. Digital transformation. Leverage technology to streamline operations, enhance customer experience, and gather business intelligence. Implement ERP system, CRM tools, data analytics, whatever it is. Know what your customers are talking about. From time to time, what are your customers saying about your business? What are they like? That's why social media has come to stay. AI has come to stay. You get, create more content, go online. What are people saying about your business? All right. Now, common mistake to avoid. Avoid this common pitfall. Avoiding this common pitfall can save your business from significant legal, financial, and professional challenges. Now, operating without registration. I said it earlier. You have 28 days from the day of you saying you're starting a business to get registered. You cannot put your name on a shop and say you are the CEO of this particular company once you are not registered with CAC. First thing is get yourself familiarized with the Corporate Affairs Commission. Now, mixing personal and business funds. I said this earlier. Once you are registered, the next step is open a bank account. Let business money be business money. Let personal money be personal money. So any money that is coming into your account, the business account, should be for a job you're about doing. Don't go and start sending from maybe your account, start sending to the account. No, it will affect financial records. It will affect the way, because it will chalk up too many transactions. You get. So And then imagine if you're now doing all of those things and then you now pass the 25 million threshold that I said that you are exempted from paying company income tax. You get, if other monies are coming into your company account and you exceed that 25 million naira, you will pay company income tax, of course, because you're no longer a small business. So let company account be company account. Once you're registered, go to any bank and open an account. Now, for that, it is not free. Just like CSC is not free, opening a corporate account is not free. It's not like the way you used to open your personal account that you can open those 567 whatever. This one is a detailed operation to open an account for a company. Most banks, I think the cheapest is 10,000 naira. They charge it for, they say search. That's what they charge it for. To confirm that yes, you're registered, your business exists, these premises that you said, and everything. So you need to know these things. These are kind of spendings you need to know. To open a corporate account is not free. The cheapest for most banks is 10,000 naira that you use to open the account. They can open the account for you free, but the day you put money inside, they will remove that 10,000 naira for search. So just know that so that you know what you're doing. Okay? Ignoring annual returns and tax. I said this earlier. You cannot afford to ignore your payment of annual returns. See, the penalty figures is huge, especially when you've defaulted for a long time. Imagine, let's assume you default payment of annual return for 10 years, and they are now saying you're supposed to pay maybe 150K as against paying 6. If you are paying yearly, you will have paid, let's say, 60 or 70,000 naira. That is how bad it is. You get, because you pay the normal fee, you pay penalty fee, you pay agent fee, the person that is going to do the filing for you, because it's a tedious work to actually file such returns. Poor internal control, increased risk of fraud and financial management and operational influence. Just like I said, once you have a poor internal control in your company, there is a lot of risk involved in it. So have a proper control around your business. Have people who are answerable to whatsoever it is that is happening in your business. Now, compliance calendar example. Now, I did this so that you see. Once you want to remain compliant, have a schedule. Annual returns are paid to CAC between January 1st to June 30th. Once you pass June 30th, what you're paying is with penalty. Meaning, let's assume you're up to date. You registered your company, let's say last year or this year. Let's use 2025. You register your company in January. You are obligated to pay your annual returns from January 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2026. Once it's July 1st, there is penalty already attached to that, and you have to pay it. So have a calendar, have a book, have a jotter, right? Between January to June, just say May, you need to pay CAC annual return so that you don't forget. You need to pay your tax. You need to file, or what are you calling it? You need to do your financial statements. You write them down. Everything that you need to do, write them down per time so that you don't forget. So that every year you carry this, you know that, okay, you need to do this thing. You start making plans towards it. There was a day there was somebody I used to handle his registrations, his company stuff for him. He called me. I was like, he's at the airport now. He was trying to waive something and they rejected that his export license expired. And I checked and I was like, the export license expired like almost a year ago, sir. He didn't know how are we going to do it. It's urgent and everything. So we have to do a fast track around it. Thank God, export license is like one of the fastest thing to get set. And then we got it that night. And the next morning, we printed the certificate and we gave them at the airport. And they were allowed his goods to go. Now, imagine if it's delayed. It means he could not send those goods out of Nigeria at that time. And what I now did for him was, I now said, okay, create a calendar for these things. You know that between January or February or March, you need to file these things. Because these things, they are small money at the end of the day, but by the time you calculate the penalty, they are much. It is much. So, but when you know the right thing to do, when to do it, you are secured and you are covered. Now, Okay, this is me saying I welcome your questions and everything. Key takeaways: the right business structure provide legal protection, credibility, and access to funding once you are fully registered. I wish I could show you what we call Mamet for registration. This is what, let me just say it, then maybe later I would send some files for people to see it. Business name registration now. Let me come back down to CAC because we are done with the presentation. When I'm done with this, we'll take questions and answers. Business names registration now on CAC is sector specific. Unlike before, you can have somebody will just come and say, okay, please, I want to register a business name. I'm doing poultry, I'm doing provision store, and I'm doing maybe POS business. We will put it there. Deals in poultry, comma, provision store, comma, POS business, comma, and to help the person, we used to put and general merchandise or general contract sometimes. Now, it's not like that for business name. Business name is now sector specific. So if it's poultry, it's poultry. If it's POS business, it's POS business. If it's provision store, it's provision store. If it's real estate, it's real estate. Like you have, it's just one. In short, there's no room for us to type now for business name registration. It's selecting. So if someone insists he wants to do a business name, there's a PDF that we have. We just send and say, okay, go through all of this list. The one that best suits what you want to do, just select it and then we'll register you. That is what we found ourselves now, because Corporate Affairs Commission new website is 90% AI driven now. 90% of it is AI driven, unlike before where it's manually. So now it's AI driven. In short, business name registration can be completed now in less than 5 minutes. In less than 5 minutes, you can have your business name registration now. But like I said, it is sector specific. But when we are registering a company, we ask you, what kind of business? If you tell us it's just poultry you're doing now, for example, we'll say, okay, do you have plans of starting any business in the nearest future? Let's say 5 years, 10 years. If you say yes, you want to venture in logistics, we'll put it. You want to venture in this, we'll put it. We want to venture in that, we'll put it. Why are we putting this thing? To avoid multiple registrations. So that tomorrow the person will now come and say he wants to register another company to do this thing. No, we put that now to avoid those extra spendings or whatever in the nearest future. You don't need to be doing those businesses, but so long as it is there, whenever you want to start, you have backing. Now, let me expatiate more. There are certain businesses that cannot be registered under business name. A lot of oil and gas is one of them. It cannot be registered under business name. Travel and tour is another one. It cannot be registered under business name. Schools cannot be registered under business name. They are all registered under company registration. So before you say you want to register, you can always register yourself. You can go and register yourself. But when you have issues, you have to look for an accredited agent to help you solve those issues. And every agent has his own fees he collects to fix those issues for you. So if you want to do these things, you need to consult somebody and ask, okay, this is what I want to register. Can it fly for a business name? Then we'll advise better. Something like travel and tour, the minimum shares in registering any company is 1 million naira shares. Some of us understand what shares is. It doesn't mean you need to have that 1 million naira. It's just showing the strength of the company as at the point of registration. So 1 million naira shares is the minimum for company registration. So once you're registered with it, you want to register a travel and tour, the minimum is 30 million naira shares. 30 million naira shares. So there's a calculation from both CAC and FIRS that has to be done to know the exact amount to pay for such. The money you use to register a travel and tour company is not the same amount you use to register a school. It's not. School is just 1 million naira shares. So the financial obligations to pay for that one is much cheaper than, say, you want to register a travel and tour company. Then if you want to register some kind of companies, there are what we call proficiency certificates, PCs. It's called PC. So if you want to register a school, before now, anybody can register in a school. But now CAC have have risen, and they realized that a lot of people were just registering schools for no reason, and they were just messing up the whole educational system. I'm just using school as an example now. So CAC now decided and say, okay, before you register a school, Corporate Affairs Commission, you have to either be a teacher or have a teacher as one of your board of directors. So, because during registration, we are going to upload what is called TRCN certificate, which is the Teachers Regulatory Commission of Nigeria. TRCN is a certificate that must be registered when you want, that must be uploaded if you want to register a school now in Nigeria. So every other businesses has its own requirements. Say you want to register a security outfit, it's also 30 million naira shares for that. And that one is more tedious because you need approval from NSCDC during the registration process. And the last time we did one for a security firm, I think to get the approval from NSCDC, they paid almost 800,000 naira thereabouts. Yes, I still have the receipt in my WhatsApp. They paid because they had to share the receipt for me and approval for me to upload on CAC before they approved the registration. So some fields that you want to register, they have requirements, they have procedures towards them. So before you even go ahead, it is advised that you seek the help of an agent who understands this thing better to advise you better. If you have the resources, you go ahead. But if you don't have, the agent will advise you, okay, remove this. When you have this, you do this and everything. That is how it works. And note, CAC is increasing the fees for registration from September 1st, 2025. They released a memo in June or July about the increment. It's supposed to have increased in August 1st, but because of the change of portal, the CAC portal is still trying to learn because it's an AI-powered portal now. It's an AI-powered portal. So it's trying to learn and relearn a lot of things. So they shifted it to 1st of September. So if you're not registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission, the best time to register is from now till the end of this month. Because even us as agents, we don't even know what the new fees is going to be like. As at now, business name registration, if you're registering it directly, it's just you spend at most 11,000 naira, you're done. You get almost 11,000, you're done for a business name registration. But from September 1st, is a new price regime. So with this, I hope I've not said too much or spoken too much. I will open myself up for questions because I know there are a lot of people who have questions regarding their businesses. So I'm opening up for questions. Then let us
So, you need anything?
Together.
You good?
Thank you so much, Mr. Taiwo, for that excellent presentation. With the questions in the queue, I must say this is
any question from anybody?
Wonderful presentation. It was a wonderful presentation. Let's start with the questions. We'll start with a question from Mr. Al-Khair, and he said, what about online companies like EdTech? Hello, Mr. Taiwo, can you hear me?
Hello, Khadija Musa. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Thank you so much, Mr. Taiwo, for that excellent presentation. The questions in the queue show just how important this topic is. We'll start with the question from Mr. Al-Khair, and he asks, what about online companies like EdTech? I guess Mr. is having a bit of a network issue. Let's wait for him as he reconnects. Let's give him a moment as he reconnects. Okay, feel free to keep dropping your questions as we wait for Mr. to reconnect.
I can't hear you. Can you hear me at all?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. Yes. Keep dropping your questions and we will attend to them. Before Mr. Tai reconnects, don't forget to follow our social media handles at Al-Khair on Instagram, Twitter, and our completed video on YouTube.
Questions.
We will now move into the Q&A section. We have this question from Ms. Al-Khair, and he asks, what about online companies like EdTech?
Sorry, like what?
EdTech.
Okay, see, no matter what you're doing, because of course
Education.
you need education, I understand education tech. You need, if you are collecting payments for whatever service you're rendering, you need to be registered. And it's not right that you get registered or you're not registered and people are sending money to your personal account. It doesn't even sit well. Someone like me, like for example, we see people who are contesting for different kind of, maybe, you know, all this online voting, whatever. And then once I see you're telling, you send me an account number and I'm saying Shehu Abdullahi, with, even if it's OP or money point, I will not send the money because you're not even serious. That is what people will assume you about that. So no matter what you're doing, so long as you're rendering a service and you want people to pay for, except if it's free, but you want people to pay for, it is ideal that you get registered. So even online stuff, there's somebody who met me yesterday and was like, his business is virtual. I said, there's no virtual business. In as much as there is, you still need to be registered, so long as you want people to respect you and pay you money for your service. So you need to be registered. There is place for a business address. You can always use your home address as your registered address since you do things remotely and virtually.
Thank you, sir. We have the next question from Farouk, and he asks, what are the key factors to consider when deciding between a sole proprietorship and a private limited company?
Okay, the key factor is what I said earlier when I started. Remember, sole proprietorship, you as a person, as the owner, you are liable for whatsoever happens in the company or in the business. You are liable for the profits, you are liable for the loss. You get. But if you are registered as a private limited liability company, you see that liability on it, bar, it has lifted up the stress from you and place it on the company. So it's just like the example I gave earlier. Business name, sole proprietor. If me and you enter business together, and then let's assume you are supposed to supply something and I've paid you, and you don't supply it complete or something, or maybe as it's coming, it's spoiled or something, you pay my money in full. Like, even if your company does not have that amount of money in your bank account, we will come and sell your assets. That is why I said in the beginning, and that's why it has unlimited liabilities. So things that belongs to you are joined to sole proprietorship. But limited liability companies has its own, there's this word we tell people, it has a life of its own. It's like a human being of its own. So when you enter into bad business, bad debt and everything, if the company does not have money, the company does not have money. You get. So that is how it is. So it's that's a better way for me to explain your question. I hope you understand. Next, please.
The next question is from Fatima, and she said, please, what are the registration fees and what timelines are for each structure?
Okay, business name. I'm giving you standard fee now. That's if you want to do it on CAC. Every agent has his own fee that is collecting because, of course, CAC, we pay CAC to be accredited, you get. Business name, total, name reservation and registration fee, you spend not more than 11,000 naira. You've gotten your business name. And business name now, just like I said earlier, due to the AI that is being used on business name now, business name can be as fast as 5 minutes you're getting your certificate. 5 minutes, it is out. But company depends on the share. So if it's 1 million naira share, cost of registration 10,000, cost of stamp duty 8,000 plus. So you'll be spending roughly around 20,000 naira minus if there's any other distance. But hopefully, if you don't get queried and whatever to maybe submit something, and then sometimes it will be queried based on what you put as your object, and then fees might be paid for that. Then NGO, mosques, church, clubs, IT, we call them economic trustee. The minimum fee for such is around, you should spend, depending on your newspaper publication, because you have to do newspaper publication too, you have to do court declaration, you have to do minutes of meetings, there's a lot of things. So minimum, if you don't spend directly, you're going to spend, let's say, around 80 to 90 or 100,000 naira. So some agents collect as much as 150, 200,000 for their logistics and concerns. And NGO registration, church, mosques, clubs, IT, they take a longer time of a minimum of 28 days from the day the name is approved. There's one thing I tell people: a name is not your name until CAC tells you it is your name. So if you begin to show off, you are using this particular name, and you go to CAC and CAC says this name has already been taken, of course you have to change the name because you have to get registered. So the first step is reservation of name. Luckily, reservation is now instant. Like if you put your name, if it will fly, CAC will tell you that this name is good to go. Once you pay your reservation of 500 naira for business name or a company, instantly you've reserved the name. So the next step is the registration. Business name is instant. Within 5 minutes, you get your certificate. But company, for now, the system is still trying to understand itself and everything. So it varies from 5 days to, let's say, 10, 15 days, and you get your documents. Business name comes with 2 documents, certificate and status report. Company comes with 3 documents, certificate, status report, and memorandum of association. Next, please.
Okay, the next question said, I'm an entrepreneur without a registered name. Is there a CAC link where I can check if my business name is already taken before registering with CAC?
Yes, you can go to search.cac.gov.ng. Just go to your Google and click on search.cac.gov.ng. It will redirect you to the new site. The new site is ICPR or something like that. We're still learning because it's a new website that new link that they just released. But if you go to search.cac.gov.ng, it will redirect you to the main site. Then you just see a space there. Just type the name. So you will see different names. You will see similar names. It will just show you so that you will know. Then when you register on the portal or you log in, you will also see it there when you try to make reservation.
This question said, please, I need an explanation on the difference between shareholders and directors, including their responsibilities in details.
Okay, I think I explained that. I don't know if this question came after I explained it earlier, but let me do it again. Directors are staff of the companies. Shareholders are owners of the companies. So you can have, let's assume you're registering a company and you don't want to be a director, you just want to be the shareholder. You can have people, maybe one person or two people or three or four or whatever number, register them as directors. They work for the company and you are the only shareholders. The only thing is, when it comes to opening of bank accounts, operational of banks, sometimes is the directors that do handle most of those things, even though there is room for shareholding to also handle it. You get. And then bank work on mandates. So when you are registered with Corporate Affairs Commission, one of the first things you need to do when you do your tax identification number is to do your letterhead, because banks does not respond. You cannot go to the bank and say, I have my company account, there was deduction, or I want to do this thing, and they will respond to you. No, because it is a person on its own. And the way they respond to those kind of accounts is via written. Everything has to be written, either typed and duly signed or handwritten on a letterhead of the company. So immediately after your business name or your company registration, the next thing, do a letterhead. You can always go to Canva and do a free letterhead for yourself for better communication. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you. The next question is, what procedure should I use to follow to make my natural pharmacy company a modern pharmacy company?
Okay. So it depends. Are you registered? If you're registered, you've already done the major thing. So if you are registered already, it's for you to know how to brand yourself. Branding does a lot to business. If your premises is not looking so well, push it up. There's a pharmacy I entered the other day. It looks like a children playground. Like there was this bright lights. It was just so fine, and you want to stay in the pharmacy. And then they took, I believe they did a careful work there, so that when you come there, you know that yes, you've entered a pharmacy. And then no matter how much you tell them, they tell you their drug is, you would want to pay because it is worth it. So if you are registered already, you've already done, as far as I'm concerned, the major part of it. The remaining is just for you to do proper branding for your business. Let people know what you do, what you sell, how you sell them. There are some, I remember I took my wife to, we went to the hospital some months ago, 2 months ago for checkup. And the doctor wrote a prescription and he told us, you might not get this in any pharmacy in Bauchi. You get. So I knew the chances of getting it was slim. But luckily, I went to one of these pharmacies around that Sajay side and I got it. You understand? So be that one person that breaks the barrier in bringing drugs that people hardly bring because maybe it doesn't last. And when people know that you bring these things, they will want to patronize you. So long as you are registered, registration is the first thing. Thank you.
This question said, I registered my business last year, September. How do I file my annual returns almost after 1 year, coupled with the fact that I have missed the first 6 months?
If you registered last year, September, you're not yet due for payment of annual returns, but you will be due by January 2026. So just check and confirm. If it's last year, September, that's 2024, you're not yet due to pay your annual returns till January 2026. So remember that and reach out to an agent to help you file your annual returns and stay updated. It helps you. It's your when you pay your annual returns back, it saves you from unnecessary spending. I wish I could share some of my WhatsApp chat. You would see somebody. There's one man. He wants to remove one of the shareholders and replace the person with another person. But on checking, he has not paid annual returns for 15 years. So now we have to pay annual returns because the way CAC works is before you do anything, before you change shareholder or change your address or correct your name or do anything, you have to check the annual return first. If it's not active, you have to clear it first. Because even if we pay for change of shareholders, CAC will hold the certificate and say, go and clear annual returns first before you will now come back and they will release these documents. That's one. Then secondly, I didn't say this in case the question is there, maybe, and somebody not ask. Somebody might be asking, can you upgrade from business name to company? Yes, you can. Or you cannot downgrade from company to business name. But if you are registered as a business name, you can always upgrade it to a company registration.
The next question is, can I register for different businesses with the same CAC, like provision and farming business? If not, then can I register each business independently?
Is yes and no question. It's a yes and no answer. So just like I said earlier, business name is now sector specific. So if let's assume you don't want to do company, you just want to do business name, it means you have to register two business, one for your provision, the other one for the other business you're doing. But if you're doing it as a company registration, you're going to put all the business, whatever there is going to fly in one registration, and it's better. It's sure at the end of the day, by the time you calculate the cost in registering two business names with different listings, it's better for you to just do one company that carries all your businesses that you're doing.
The next question is, if I pay for a reservation name, does it have a time limit, or how long does it last before I claim the name?
Yes, it has a time frame of 60 days. 60 days before it expires. And when it expires, sometimes, although thank God, the new portal that they did now, they can see an option for us to delete. So I don't know, even if we delete it, maybe they will allow us to register, because once you put the name and you don't do the registration after 60 days, that name is gone. You have to reserve another name, maybe coin it a different way on it. But now we could see an option for delete. So we've not really tried it to say, okay, if we delete this name, we can reserve it again and it will fly. But you have 60 days to complete your registration once the reservation has been done. Next question.
This question is, how long does it take for a CAC to be ready, registration to be ready?
I think I've answered that earlier. Business name, 5 minutes. Company, give or take, let's just put it at 15 days. It could be less, could be like that, it could be more, because the new portal is still learning, just like I said. But for business name registration, it is as instant as 5 minutes. You're getting your certificate and your status report.
This question is, what if I want to register for different business and I registered it as a company, but I want the cash flow to be in different accounts?
What it means is in different accounts. And it's you now. You have to create multiple accounts. That's what it means. In the bank, in whichever bank. You tell them that, okay, you want this account to be under this particular registration, and then it work. But let me give you an instance. Like Dangote Group. You see, I didn't say this earlier, but in case somebody is asking and somebody did not ask, but maybe somebody has been yearning for it. Group of companies, you can register a group of companies, but before you register a group of companies, you have to have 3 separate companies. First of all, minimum of 3. Then you merge them together to become one group of companies. Like this is how it works with Dangote. Dangote has Dangote Sugar. Money for Dangote Sugar goes to Dangote Sugar. There is Dangote Refinery, same thing. There's Dangote Cement, the same thing. All of these things. So I believe what they do, because that's what most group of companies do, is the group of companies account only receives profits. So it is what is left from these other account, the Dangote Sugar, Dangote Refinery, that goes to the Dangote group of companies account. So if you want things like that, you have to first of all register minimum of 3 different companies. Then you merge them together to be a group of companies. So you can have multiple accounts with different names for those things. But you can also have just one company and instruct your bank that you want multiple accounts, and then they will create it. There's a way they will do, for example, my brand is Beautiful Arewa Print, so they can do Beautiful Arewa Print, comma, operations, or iPhone, I mean, dash operations, Beautiful Arewa Print dash salary. You get, so salary money is going into salary, operations money goes into operations, like that. It's just what you tell the bank will do for you based on your CAC document that you have.
Next question is, how can I repay my previous CAC payment?
You need to contact an accredited agent. You see, I'm not advertising myself because there is plenty accredited agent outside. You get, so sometimes you can easily walk into CAC office in Bauchi or Jos or wherever you are, and then in as much as they don't do these things at the office, they will refer you to an accredited agent. Somebody went to the office, I think 4 months ago, and then he was referred to come and file it with me. It now happened that when he died, I was like, he knows me, and then we spoke. You get, I was like, you are the positive for status. You don't know that you do it. It was like you didn't know. Went to the office and they refer. So when you go to CAC office, they can refer you to an accredited agent of their choice or anything, you get. And then because annual returns are paid through accredited agents for transparency's sake, because once you don't know how to do these things, you're not trained towards doing these things, you just go and I don't use the word, but you just go and mess it up, and then there's a lot of back and front and everything. Next, please.
Next question is, what is the greatest challenge that an unregistered business can face?
The greatest challenge is you can never be trusted. You will lose a lot of opportunities. Like when I say a lot, I know people who they will tell you that, Kai Baba, I lost this contract because I'm not registered. And they brought this person and then you got the job. Once you are not registered, a lot of people, see, there's somebody I know, the person had finished this work for this organization. They finished everything. Time for payment came. They refused to pay him because he gave them a personal account. They said they don't pay money into, if you know a lot of organizations, NGOs, whatever, they don't pay money into personal accounts, except it is very important. Maybe they did a seminar or something like that. But for services that you render, it is being paid to a registered company account, either business name or limited liability or whatever registration. But it has to be paid to a registered account because of taking of records, forensic expert and everything. You understand? Everybody just wants to be careful. I will give you an instance. I know an organization, an international NGO, that sacked their accountant because he made a transfer of 10,000 naira to an electrician that did work for them. He sent the money to the electrician personal account. It wasn't supposed to be done. Now, do you know that this guy sent an auditor from US? Imagine how much they've spent. Flight money, accommodation. They sent an auditor from US just to come to Nigeria to audit an account for just 10,000 naira payment that was done to an electrician for a job that the electrician actually did. You understand? So just be careful, do the right thing so that you don't miss opportunity when the time comes. Thank you. Next.
I think that's the end of the questions. Thank you so much, Mr. Taiwo, for your time and expertise. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who joined us today. We really hope today gave you more clarity and direction as you build your business. Thank you, Ibrahim, for kickstarting us today. And that brings us to the end of our session. We will see you tomorrow, same time by 4:30. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
The Al-Khair Foundation. Empowering lives. Transforming communities.